778 it is. Who's this? Where are you calling from? You are the final caller of the day.
Hi. Hi, is this me?
Yes, it's you. 778. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike. I'm calling from Vancouver Island in British Columbia.
Okay, Mike, what's on your mind? Got to be quick.
Okay, well, I hear a lot of of course, Gaza and Israel are very interested in that. What are Harris's policies regarding UNRWA? I haven't heard whether she's going. The United States is the last country to be the holdout since New Zealand resumed funding a couple months ago. And you would think of that's the one thing she can kind of say, not get too much flack for, because the United States is the last holdout.
Yep.
So has she said anything about that?
I have not heard her say anything in that regard, and I have not heard that question posed to her, frankly. That's a great question.
Yeah, because it makes me wonder, how serious then are you? Especially when her camp is releasing, we support Israel against Iran and Iranian-backed terrorists, but by your definition, isn't Hamas an Iranian-backed terrorist? So
it really sort of depends on who you talk to and what constitutes being backed. I mean, Iran certainly, my understanding of the reporting in our intelligence agencies believe that Iran had no idea what was happening in terms of October 7th. To the extent that they get, I mean, they get some funding, but it's not like Hezbollah. No, and I'm not comparing the two. I think what's happening is a parsing of words kind of thing. It's yes, Iran, at least nobody officially is saying that they had anything to do with October 7th, and I don't think anybody really does. It's just propaganda when they say they do. No, I know what you're saying. There's definitely like a wiggle room in that statement that Gordon put out on Twitter about Iran and Iran-backed groups that could theoretically be interpreted either way. And so, I mean, I agree with you, but I think that's a good question. And I think it's one that she should answer. I hope that we get to another phase of the campaign after the convention where, as they go out and do press, that people start to ask some of these hard questions.
I really hope they do, because I can understand her position, especially with Bowman and Corey being and what happened with Nina Turner. You're afraid of Israel, and rightly so. But this is something I think you can do that you'll piss Israel off, but you can at least do some really good
I also think that the American public would support it. I think the American public would support it. I think it's good politics. So we'll see. I appreciate the call, Mike.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye. All right, folks, that ends the call-in portion of our program. That sound signifies the end of the call-in portion of our program. It's proof. DJ McFizzle, if I want to drink my shirt, I will. OS. Old Man Cedar's sundowning. Emma now has the chance to strike.
No.
Nate Heavens. I think it's worth noting that the FDA classifies water as generally recognized for safe and use of food. That's their safe classification. Just a thought. John in Omaha. Yeah, baby, let's go.
When we're at Kusam, we'll have David Cross release a op-ed in some newspaper.
Charlie Tuna, never pick a scab. Bullprog. This is Matt on interviewed about it. It's Sam's decision to make. Well, Sam's already said he's staying with the show. Well, it's his decision to make, and he will make that decision very soon.
He's also a very decent guy.
Trump is pulling what Nixon did with Vietnam by urging Israel prime minister refuse any deal around Gaza. I think that's possible, but I also think that Netanyahu doesn't need Trump's encouragement in that respect.
Yeah, I did see Zaid Gilani credulously act as if Trump is going to convince Netanyahu to do a ceasefire before the election, and I think that is probably not what Trump is doing.
No.
Somebody, I missed it, saying that I'm a boomer, and I'm first of all, I'm not a boomer, but wanted to know what I meant by the David Frost was a famous interviewer, I think it was from BBC, maybe. And
BBC UK.
He had a big sit down with Nixon, and it was like a big interview that
one of the most famous, probably, media interviews ever, I would think.
They
Pretty
made
close.
him
Does no one remember the movie?
Yeah. Did Frank Langella win the Oscar for playing?
He was nominated. I don't believe he won.
I don't remember the
Nixon?
movie.
I think
That
it was Nixon's first big sit down after Watergate, where he said, if the president does it, that means it's not a crime.
That means it's not illegal.
and he turned out to be right,
That's
according
true.
to the right-wing
his
Supreme
time.
Court.
Wow.
House
BRB
controls and
forever.
executive immunity.
Sam, chat wants to know how many buttons you have open. I just have 2. Disco Stew. AOC's DNC speech was great and suggests a bright future for the Democratic Party. It shows what can be accomplished by organizing within the Democratic Party despite its many faults. It's embarrassing that just weeks ago, DSA pulled their endorsement of their best-known proponent. Fortunately, politics is just an aesthetic for too much of the DSA. They seem more concerned with enforcing rigid ideological stances than actual outcomes. I need to read more into that, but on its
I don't
face,
agree
I don't
with
think
that.
it's. I think it was a mistake. But
Well, I mean, she did that.
I'd like to know what that person's doing. What groups are you? What pressure groups are you doing that's helping to achieve good policies, whether it's ceasefires? I'm just curious what other people are doing besides saying not like that, because I frankly think that AOC's owes a lot to that movement, and I think
she does.
Where this,
She
where this
does.
country's going, and the economic policy owes a lot to, say, Bernie Sanders. So, no, I'm not ready to say those people are so aesthetically minded. And I'd be curious what this person's productive agenda is, rather than just shitting on DSA.
It seems like kind of a mutual thing. It's a bit of a mutual breakup. She's distancing herself. She has broader ambitions. So I just like that. And the New York chapter has not gone as far as the national one, is my understanding.
But it's not DSA's job to follow a politician that's playing an inside game that isn't being communicated to the actual movement. Like, I think it's ridiculous to put the heat on the DSA, which I think has a lot of soul searching to do, but I don't think it should come from people like that from the outside that I think just saying work within the Democratic Party, because I don't think that's what Bernie did. I don't think that's what AOC did when she got into the Congress. She was not emphasizing it like that. So no, I reject that. I am.
Vinny YP says the DSA made the correct decision. You can't have a real socialist platform if you compromise your principles. Union Jack, guys, this is my 1,000th something attempt. Why are we ignoring Doug Emhoff and his Zionist nature? He is literally going to fundraisers and closed door and even some public meetings where he's openly saying Kamala won't be changing Israel policy. He even said in October there are not two sides on this issue and talking about the Israel-Palestine issue. He's sick as much as Biden when it comes to Gaza. Why are we not focusing on her husband? I mean,
that seems wild to me to say that. Everyone in the Democratic Party is pro-Israel. I mean, this is just like that's the case, but it's just can they be pushed? First of all, his kid, Kamala's, I guess, step kid, but also child in that way, posted a Gaza fundraiser on her social media. The New York Post picked it up. She deleted it. So, you want to play the family game, there's that too. And, this is the kind of ceremonial stuff that the husband of the vice president is going to be doing. I think this just, is crazy to say that her policies would be, reflective of that. I don't know.
Kirby says the DSA did not pull an endorsement. They internally decided not to endorse her because she won her primary and they had no leverage. My understanding is that they revoked her membership and they both they left her membership, but I haven't read into it. Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.